What's up YouTube, it's Yugi Penguin. Before we get into the video today, I have decided to jump on the YouTube bandwagon and open up my own Patreon account. I feel like it's fair, especially considering I'm not monetized for my videos. I do not make any income on these videos, I just make them for fun. But any sort of support you wish to give me, whether it's a comment on Patreon or just on the YouTube channel itself, I'm very happy with that. But $1, €1, £1 a month, no matter where you are in the world, it all goes towards a cause and it all goes towards bringing you updated and newer content and product opening on the channels. So I'll leave a link in the description below, but let's get into the video for today. This is an updated Counter Fairy deck for June 2018. Hopefully this is for not a budget deck, this is actually for the players that want to spend money on cards. So if you do like this video, please leave a like, and I'll see you guys in just a moment. Okay guys, so I've set the camera up. We're starting today's video with the first boss monster of the deck, and it is the Sacred Arch Air Knight Parshaf. You really need this card. Hopefully I don't knock the camera down when I pull this. Okay, there we go. Last video I actually knocked the camera down, so we're okay. If you activate a counter trap, or if you negate the activation of a spell trap card or monster effect except during the damage step, you can banish 2 other fairy type monsters from your hand, field and or graveyard and special summon this card from the graveyard. If it was there, if it was not there, you can also bring it out from the hand. He's a very good card, and he also inflicts piercing battle damage to your opponent. Great card, and also if he does do that, you can actually add a counter trap from your deck to your hand. The next card, in my humble opinion, I really love playing this card. This is the Neo Parshaf, the Sky Paladin. So you can special summon this card from your hand by tributing 1 Air Knight Parshaf you control. Sacred Air Parshaf is the only card I do control which is a Parshaf in the deck, so it's fully recommended, but once he's in the graveyard anyway, it really doesn't matter. But Neo Parshaf is so special in this deck because if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field and you actually do, and your life points are higher than your opponent's, you gain attack and defense equal to the difference between life points with you and your opponent. So Neo Parshaf is a great card and can actually hit a way over above 11,000 attack. The next card I wish to play in my deck is 2 Guiding Ariadne. I was playing 3, but I have so many different cards I want to play in this deck, especially with counter traps. I feel like 2 is a good ratio for Guiding Ariadne considering what I'm playing. I'll always set the pendulum scale with Guiding Ariadne, and I will not play her as a normal monster, just because when I do activate counter traps I do not pay a life point cost, so it really helps against the Solemn Brigade. So you're not paying half life points, you're not paying 2,000 life points, you're not even paying 1,500 life points for Solemn Strikes. Guiding Ariadne has to be in the deck, and you do not have to discard any counter traps that you play. The next monster of the deck, I play 2 Power Angel Valkyria. So if you negate the activation of a spell and trap card or monster effect, add 1 light fairy type monster from your deck to your hand, and you can only use this once per turn. Fantastic for finding cards like Honest and, hitting, during battle phase, discarding it and using the attack power from your monster to save it during the battle phase. Next up, I wasn't sure about the ratio, but because I play a lot of 4-star monsters and XZ's cards in the deck, I've decided to play Bountiful Artemis at 3. So each time a counter trap is activated, immediately after this card resolved, draw 1 card. Great for digging deeper into the deck because sometimes you are playing a lot of counter traps on the field, and I'll show you in the side deck also, like all the different kinds of cards that you can actually play. Next up, 2 Minerva, Scholar of the Sky. So each time a counter trap is activated, immediately after it resolves, this card gains 500 attack, which is very good for a 4-star monster. And if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, add 1 counter trap with a different name from your graveyard to your hand, also very good. 2 Honest, self-explanatory, and I also round off the monsters with 2 Draw and Lock Birds. I also think this is a good ratio because you want to stop your opponent as much as possible from adding cards from their graveyard to their hand, or just any time they're going to be drawing cards from their deck. So I don't play Ash Blossoms, you can see I don't play Ghost Spells, I have Ghost Ogres, but they're in my side deck. It really does depend on the matchup, but recently I've been playing a lot of Altergeist decks and Trickstars, so I want to, decline them from actually bringing out Trickstar cards from their deck or Altergeist cards, so that explains that. For the spells, I play the 3 the Sanctum of Parshaf. hope I said that right. This name becomes a Sanctuary in the Sky while on the field or in the graveyard. So this is why I do not play the field spell, the Sanctuary in the Sky. You're welcome to play 3 Terraformings with 3 Sanctuary of the Skies, but I also just want to just play the Sanctum of Parshath. I think it just helps. It's a very good card, and you know, your set spells and traps cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects whilst this card is on the field, and it has a second effect where you can target a total of 3 monsters and or counter traps with different names, and you can actually place them on top of your deck in any order. So really good for late game play if you need to add something like, I don't know, Solemn Judgment back from your deck and you have Guiding Ariadne on the field, so you don't have to pay life point cost. Next up, I play the 3 Card of Demise. It might be a bit bricky, so you could go down to 2, but I kind of prefer 3 at the moment. You would draw cards until you have 3 in your hand, because most of the time, if you're playing a lot of cards, you will have no cards in your hand. So Card of Demise is that 1 card that will bring cards back to your hand, and you probably will play playing combos, so you will not have a hand at the end of the phase anyway to discard. I only play 2 Ties of the Brethren. I know, what a shocker. 2 Ties of the Brethren is enough for me because I have enough monsters, but I don't want to pay the life point cost either. And then last but not least, for spell cards, the one where I get key to round off. For trap cards, I'm playing 2 battle traps of Storming Mirrorfalls. I feel like that's, you know, enough that we need. I mean, you could always play Quaking Mirrorfalls, but the monsters stay on the field, I know, in face down defense. Or you could have cards like Drowning Mirrorfalls, which I believe sends shuffles the cards back into the deck. Great card to play, but I actually just prefer Storming Mirrorfalls for that reason. And the other 2 battle traps that I play is 2 Evenly Matched. So basically, if you've only got Evenly Matched on the field, your opponent will only have 1 card on the field left. You don't lose all the cards, unfortunately. So here we go, last but not least, I play the Imperial Order, create trap card, negate all spell cards on the field, and once per turn during the standby phase, you must pay 700 life points. It's not optional or the card is destroyed. And then we move on to the counter traps of the deck. I play 10, I believe, so we'll go through it together. I play 2 Rebirth of Parshath. So when a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated, wow, that just scared the hell out of me. My whole telly just switched itself on. I'm not even going to edit that out, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Rebirth of Parshath, so you can discard a card, 1,000 life points, negate the activation, and if you do, shuffle the card into the deck, and then you can special summon 1 Parshath monster from your deck or extra deck. Very, very cool card. So it does bring out Neo Parshath, and it does bring out Sacred Arch. Very cool. The next card I play is Broken Line. So when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated in this card's column, while this card is set, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Very awesome card. I just thought I'd throw it in. I play the 2 Ultimate Providence. So when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, you would discard the same card as the card that has been activated, negate it, and if you do, destroy it. There is so much negation in this deck, it's unreal. So it's hard not to lose a game, but you have to worry about, you know, Sky Strikers, you have to worry about Vampire decks, you know. There's quite a few new updated decks, and, you know, sadly, Counter Fairies are falling behind a little bit, so this deck is semi-competitive, but I would not play it, you know, for championships, in my opinion. So when your opponent activates a trap card, Red Reboot will negate the activation, and if you do, you can set the card face down. So basically, your opponent would set another card face down, which is good, because if you have Twin Twisters in your hand, this is ifs and buts, but if you do have Twin Twisters, you're destroying both, and hopefully they don't have cards that activate from the graveyard. And last but not least, for the counter traps, I play the Solemn Brigade, because obviously you're negating a lot of stuff. So Solemn Brigade is very, very good in the deck. Moving on to the extra deck. Okay, so your extra deck consists of anything you want it to be. I'm playing the standards for Soldier Skuldred, Firewall Dragon. I've added Nightmare Griffin, and I've added a Nightmare Unicorn to the deck. Nice synergy with the deck. You know, sometimes you can swarm the board, and these are the 4 cards that you would use. If you want to use Topologic Bomber Dragon or Borolo Dragon, it's completely up to you. I don't mind. I mean, it's up to you, like I said. I also play Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus, and a Decode Talker for my last Link monsters. And then moving on to the XZs, standards for Utopia and Utopia the Lightning, because you can overlay that, and he can go to 5,000 attack if you detach 2 materials during the battle phase. Good if you want to out opponent's monsters, you know, 5,000 attack, you can't really go wrong. And you play a lot of 4-star monsters, so you can just use 2 level 4 monsters to get out Utopia. I also play 1 Tornado Dragon, because that outs pretty much any spell or trap. It doesn't negate, but it does destroy. Very, very cool. 1 Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, again it's all for attacking, you want to go all out attack sometimes. 1 Supreme King Dark Dragon Rebellion, I've said it in the wrong way round. 1 Gar Cowboy, that is literally just to finish off a duel. If your opponent is on less than 1,000 life points, you can just bring this card out into defense and it can just take 800 life points off your opponent. Very good for endgame finishing. 1 Cascade the Sky Blaster for, you know, it acts as Fairy Tail Snow, it flips your monsters face down defense. And last but not least for stall play, the 1 Baguska the Terribly Tired Tapir. Your side deck can also be whatever you want it to be, but just because, you know, I want to play it like this, I'm playing the 1 Effect Veiler, 2 Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbits, that's your monsters for the side deck. 1 Called by the Grave, yes, I'm not playing 3 Called by the Graves, I mean it really does depend on my matchup. I don't really play matchups that actually affect me in that way, but Called by the Grave is actually quite a good card, so I'm going to keep it at 1 for the time being, until I get the other 2 basically. 2 Twin Twisters, and 2 Cosmic Cyclones, because 2 Cosmic Cyclones and 2 Twin Twisters stops all spells and traps basically. It's very good to swap out certain cards that are in the main deck for those 4 cards, considering you can actually discard your Parshath cards and just special summon them from the graveyard anyway. This is a card I've just seen from Flames of Destruction, Waking the Dragon. If this set card in its owner's control has left the field because of an opponent's effect, and is now in the graveyard or banished, you can special summon 1 monster from your deck or extra deck. I don't know if that ignores summoning conditions, but it is quite broken if you think about it, because a lot of the time you can bluff your opponent and you can actually add that card and you can just bring out any card you want really from that point on. I play 2 Divine Punishments because Sanctuary in the Sky, basically your Sanctum of Parshath is your version of Sanctuary in the Sky, so Divine Punishment combos off well with this. I don't recommend playing these 2 cards, but Drastic Drop Off, because when your opponent does add a card from their deck to hand, including draw phase, they must discard one of those cards. It doesn't really help because that sometimes can give them an advantage if a card is sent to the graveyard, you know, they're comboing off from there and you really don't really want that. And last but not least, I am playing 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance because that stops all spells. Guys, if you have enjoyed this video and it has been informative enough for you, I do try, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and please turn on your notifications because that's when you know I upload a video basically. YuGiOh Penguin signing out. Guys, I'll see you in the next one.